Hi everybody, how y'all doing? This is our third one here for Mike Gibson, USA. So, one of the descriptions you gave was so interesting to me, and I loved this part when you said, if you had been in a different kind of room, even one that was full of ash and dark or what have you, would you have had that same experience? I can tell you for a fact I know that yes, I would. But I'll tell you the cleaner version first, and then I'll go into the dirt and ash floor. When I used to go to society, religious society of friends, the Quakers, I went to their meeting houses, and that's how simply they are. Very humble. They just look like it's benches, it's wood. There is nothing in them at all. It is the most plain and simple of any room. Did I feel that same sense of connection? Yes, but it wasn't to the amperage of degree that I did when I was in Orthodox Church. Um, and what I'm talking about is a sense that's similar to what I have on my own when I'm meditating and praying. One time I was able to visit the Native American Baha'i Institute. It's on a reservation here in Arizona. This was back probably 2000, year 2000 or 99, might have been 99. A friend of mine and I, we went from Albuquerque, drove all the way over there. They have hogans there, and they have a very, very sacred prayer hogan. Now, those are like, not a hogan is just like a structure. I don't know how to describe them, but that was how they had made their houses, where they were called hogans. But this one in particular was set out as a prayer one. You might know that there are on each continent, or at least there used to be one in Russia, but that one's gone away, and I think that's why they made the one in Germany, to keep one on each continent, Baha'i temple. And that the only one that's quite similar to that, but doesn't have the same, I don't want to say level of expression in the architecture, because it's absolutely magnificent. But I mean, if you look at what they're building right now in Chile, that's their works of art. Someone's texting me, and so it's kind of there's this humble reverence to this one that's at Nabi, that unless you've been to Nabi, you probably wouldn't even know about their prayer hogan. So while we were at that Baha'i Institute for a class, there was a time where we did get to go say prayer in the prayer hogan. And we walked in a certain direction. It absolutely had a dirt floor. And yeah, I felt the same thing. And I think part of what it is I'm feeling is a desire for God, or a sense of wanting to do what's right, wanting to be connected. I don't really know. I know what it is when I'm in the Orthodox Church, but I can say smatterings of it maybe that I've felt or understood it, but like I say, it's never to the amplitude when I go to the Orthodox Church. I could get snippets of it, but it was just drops of water. This flows like a waterfall. There's so much going on all at once. And I cannot control it. Okay. Now, if you've listened to any of my vlogs where I talk about what happens when I go to church, I have like a whole playlist of church visits. I started to have a question out to my viewers. I was asking, I don't have a name for this sensation that I'm experiencing. And Zagrisha came up with a description that I've chosen that I liked. He said was that I was experiencing mercy and grace. So whenever I say that in one of my vlogs, that's the sensation that I'm referring to. It accompanies a physical sensation that goes through my body. It's that of warmth and tingling. I cannot control it. I can't start it. I can't stop it. Um, and I note it when it happens because it's it's unusual. I mean, and I know that it's the same thing that's happening because it's the same one that I get at home when I'm doing my prayers and my meditations. It's the same one. So that pretty much, is the same. But here's the thing, when I would practice as a Baha'i, I would not have that same one. I certainly never had the tingle business. I had the sense of connection and the devotion and the desire to love, serve, and please, humanity as well as creator. But it wasn't that full-on warmth through my body. Everything is like pulsating and tingling. It's like the craziest thing. I mean, it's out of control. I have no control over it. I don't know what's really going on. So Grace said, just call it mercy and grace. And I said, that's fine, because yeah, I am experiencing mercy and grace at that time. You talk about comfort. Yeah, oh wait, I might have already talked about comfort, so I don't have to go back to that. That is a comforting feeling, however, I must say. I had another one, though, that wasn't quite so. Oh, yeah. I got interested in icons because Yusuf started showing them on his channel. And there was one that he showed that after he showed it, it was like it was planted in my head. Okay. It was like so stuck in my head. It was as if, do you remember those acetate pages that used to be put on projectors that would be put up onto like a screen? They'd be plastic, you'd see through them, and then they would, write on things and such. It was as if the icon was an acetate in my brain, and it would just thwunk, and then everything I would see would be behind that icon. This went on for a very long time. And it would come in fast and hard, like thwunk. I would be jarred. It would happen a lot when I was in prayer. It would happen when I was driving. It was pervasive, okay? And I kept asking Yusuf, what exactly is this icon? Maybe if I buy it and put it in my house, it'll stop being in my head. It felt like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when he's like obsessed and has to make his mashed potatoes look like, Devil's Tower or whatever. That was the kind of, it's in my head that I could not get out. I bought the icon, put it in my house, to no avail. She's still there. And I absolutely prayed, and I said, look, I don't want it anymore. I'm begging for it to be gone. I can't. Theotokos, please. I love you, Theotokos, but please. It's too painful, and it stopped. And then, what did I do? Please come back. Why? Because I missed her, right? She'd been hanging out for all these months, and then I missed her. So, when she came back, in my mind, like as this picture, it was very different than the harsh thwunk. It was instead much more like a fade in or fade out, or kind of like when I asked for it. Before I couldn't control it. It was like, you're going to see this now, and this is what you're going to see. It was very like, it was too strong. It was too frightening. Now it's like, okay, I can ask for it, comes in slowly, leaves when it needs to, reminds me of what I need to do, what I'm doing, whatever it is. And I said in that vlog, it's like, this I can live with. This is more manageable. This is more, normal to me, for whatever. And now, I probably sound completely unnormal. And I'll say some things that even are worse, okay? I don't know if you're familiar with Capo Piso, but, he's an atheist on here who talks about that anybody who has any kind of religious experience is basically like mentally ill. And he calls it Christ psychosis. Okay. There is a component to serotonin that when it's too low, that a person will actually get what are religious experiences. And they'll see things and they'll, whatever it is. And that's been documented. Okay. That's biochemical, neurological. You can't get away from it. I have noted many times and have talked about that when I see the Eucharist, I see light flowing from it. And I had taken some medicine actually that I was using to help something else, but I knew it was changing my serotonin, and it coincided with me not seeing the light come out of the Eucharist. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, maybe, that makes total sense. And then I, went off that medication, which has nothing to do with serotonin. It's weird. I was using it for something else. It's a Chinese medicine. And then, yeah, when I saw today the Eucharist, she was flowing with light. So I see lots of things. I feel sensations of things that other people, might not feel. My husband, he went to church and he didn't feel anything at all. He didn't feel that same mercy and grace. But that's fine. Maybe he's not supposed to. We're not all certainly supposed to be the same. I don't believe that at all. Yeah. Okay. So, let's see. La 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 la. Oh, stress. Filling the hole. Of course I have stress in my life. And I'm about to use two initials that are language that you will understand. Most of the stress in my life I can't talk about due to OPSEC. Okay? And my life is definitely snafu. It really is. So now you might know quite a good bit more about my adult stresses. My childhood life stresses, they're an Oprah show, but I don't really think it matters so much everything that did or didn't happen to me, instead rather what I did with it, who I've become and how I live my life. Yes, I boo-hoo, and there are some times where it gets so intense that I do have to absolutely rant, and there are several strong-shouldered let me cry on their strong, warm shoulders. People in my life who absolutely, let me fall apart, and then I just pick myself up and I'm off again. So it was never religion that was actually that. I think parents are more supposed to be, friends are more supposed to be comfort. I think faith is a different rigmarole. And when you talk about dogma in particular or traditions needing to be done away with or something like that, traditions to me are simply a nod to previous generations for the way that they did something and expressed something. And it to me, it feels and shows a connection of respect and understanding, to do that. Coming from, a Jewish background, there's great difference between what is the law of how you express your faith in God, and traditions that have arisen, and they're not seen as synonymous. But I think kind of that's what's being said in Orthodoxy when they talk about traditions with the big T and traditions with the little t, as well as, well, there's really only one commandment, which is love one another. It's the new commandment, love one another. Okay, now I'm at 13 minutes. I think I have to cut out, and there'll be one more. See, so it's going to be an hour anyway, even though you asked me something for 11 minutes, and I just, I can't. Oh gosh, I hope I'm clear and concise enough. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Really, I appreciate it.